Well, that was a big dog. I don't have a picture. I'll not use clickbait or try to build things up more than they are, but it seems like every outing is an adventure anymore. Just about. Not many of them aren't. Always the unexpected. Like this big dog here. That was not the one, but it was one just like that ran into on this trip. So ran out of video just about a minute or two before he showed up. And there was another one on back behind him, which added to it. But I'll talk about that a little more as we get into it. But now we're going to mix up this trip. A few oldies, some gospel, a little bit of a mixture. And this one, I told people here a while back, I said, well, this one was written by myself and Johnny Cash. The only thing is Johnny Cash did his part many years ago, and I just did my part a few days ago. Took one of his old songs and changed it around a little bit. Made it into a little different song, so hang on. Get Jesus when you get the blues. Come on, get Jesus when you get the blues. Get a hallelujah feeling in your bones, put praise on your lips and get going. Get Jesus when you get the blues. Little shoe shine boy, he never gets slowed down, but he got the dirtiest job in town. Bending low at the people's feet on a windy corner of a dirty street. When I asked him why he shined my shoes, how do you keep from getting the blues? He grinned as he fed. He raised his little head and he popped his shoe shine rag, and then he said, get Jesus when you get the blues. Come on, get Jesus when you get the blues. God's Holy Spirit makes you feel so fine. He'll shake the troubles of your worried mind. Get Jesus when you get the blues. Get Jesus when you get the blues. Come on, get Jesus when you get the blues. Get a hallelujah feeling in your bones, put praise on your lips and get going. Get Jesus when you get the blues. Well, I sat and listened to Shoe Shine Boy. I thought I was gonna jump for joy. He slapped on the shoe polish left and right. He took his shoe shine rag and he held it tight. He stopped once to wipe the sweat away. I said, you mighty little boy to be working this way. He said, I like it with a big wide grin. Kept on popping and said again, get Jesus when you get the blues. Come on, get Jesus when you get the blues. It won't even cost you a dime. Jesus did it all for you. Get Jesus when you get the blues. Now I'm heading up to the hill I've been to before. One, if you've seen the video, where I hit the drainage ditch pretty hard coming back down. But I'm going to try to, plans are to push the bike up maybe, or either park the bike and walk part way up. It's a pretty rough climb up through there. I'd love to get to the top of that hill and be able to see if I can see some view on the other side, just out of curiosity. But here's a song that, if you're as old as I am, you might remember it, or almost as old as I am at least. What a day for a daydream. What a day for a daydreaming boy. I'm lost in a daydream, dreaming about my bundle of joy. And even if time ain't really on my side, it's one of those days for taking a walk outside, blowing the day to take a walk in the sun, fall on my face on somebody's new mowed lawn. And I've been having a sweet dream. I've been dreaming since I woke up today. It's starving me and my sweet thing, 'cause she's the one who makes me feel this way. And even if time is passing me by a lot, I Couldn't care less about the dues you say I got. Tomorrow I'll pay the dues for dropping my load. A pint of face for being a sleeping old poor dog. You can be sure that if you're feeling fine, a daydream will last long into the night. Tomorrow at breakfast you may pick up your ears, or you may be daydreaming for 1,000 years. What a day for a daydream, custom made for a daydreaming boy. And I'm lost in a daydream, dreaming by my bundle of joy. And there's latest Finding Hope home right in front of us, Nathan and Anka Merle. I'm gonna turn left here and head for the hills, so to speak. And here's an original Johnny Cash gospel called Belshazzar. If I remember correctly, I think he said this was the very first song he ever submitted to Sun Records. I hope we got the record company right, but anyway, the record company started with, well, the Bible tells us about a man who filled by owning all its land. Let me start over on that one. Well, the Bible tells us about a man who ruled Babylon and all its land. Round the city he built a wall and declared that Babylon would never fall. He had concubines and wives he called his Babylon paradise. Upon his throne he reigned, he drank and ate. But poor Belshazzar was dead and laid. He was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His kingdom was divided, he couldn't stand. He was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His houses were built upon the sand. While the people feasted and drank their wine and praised the false gods of the time, all holy things they scorned and mocked, when suddenly all the mocking stopped. For on the wall there appeared a hand, nothing else, there was no man. Blood the hand began to write, and Belshazzar could hide his pride. For he was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His kingdom was divided, he couldn't stand. He was weighed in the balance and found wanting. His houses were built upon the sand. No one around could understand what's written by the mystic hand. Belshazzar tried, but he couldn't find a man who to give him peace of mind. Then Daniel, the prophet, a man of God, he saw the writing on the wall in blood. And Belshazzar asked him what it said, and Daniel turned to the wall and said, "Oh boy, you've been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Your kingdom is divided, it couldn't stand. You've been weighed in the balance and found wanting. Your houses were all built upon the sand." Well, what did it say there? Second verse, that's what I'm looking at while it's hesitating. All holy things they scorned and mocked, when suddenly all their mocking stopped. And that's not only true then, it'll be true in the future. And all these scoffers, they will come to their end. And the mockers, they will come to their end and face the judgment that they will seal their fate with. All right, that's it. Well, some of the songs we're putting in this video, they're all unique. Have a unique sound to them, let me put it that way. And Johnny Cash had a pretty unique sound that made him famous. We mix it up a little bit. The Lovin' Spoonful is the one I did about the Daydream. That's pretty unique sounding song. And so here's another one with Johnny Cash sound to it. In a little cabaret in a South Texas border town, sat a boy and his guitar, and people come from all around. And all the girls from here to Austin are slipping away from home, putting jewelry in hot to take a trip and go and listen to the little dark-eyed boy who played the Tennessee flat top box, and he would play. And I cannot do the regular rhythm section that goes in that part. Well, he couldn't ride a wrangle and he never cared to make a dime. Give him his guitar and he'd be happy all the time. And all the girls from 9 to 90 were snapping fingers, tapping toes, and begging him don't stop. And hypnotized and fascinated by the little dark-haired girl who played the Tennessee flat top box, and he would play. And then one day he was gone, no one ever saw him round. Vanished like the breeze, they forgot him in that little town. But all the girls still dreamed about him and hung around the cabaret until the doors were locked. And then one day on the hit parade there was a little dark-haired boy who played the Tennessee flat top box, and he would play. Okay, I looked out the way here and the grassy area that I had went through before when I was up here, and the video is not picking up a lot of out ahead, but ahead is kind of the road was a grassy road out through there, and there's a lot of water in it, and so I'm looking outside. They mowed the field, but they did not mow that section, so I decided to push my way up just a little bit through the tall grass, not a whole lot of it, and avoid that section of a lot of tall grass and probably water still standing to get around that. And so that's kind of what I'm surveying here at the time. You can't really see, like I say, the video is just not picking it up. May have the I had the camera turned down on a little too much on my helmet. That happens every once in a while. You know, I love some of the newer music. I love some of the old hymns. If it praises God and gives Him glory, then I'm all in favor for it. I like it. Of course, some tunes are more pleasant to the ear, of course, than others. And that's all sometimes a matter of taste, but I hear people talk about also that the old hymns, you know, there's something about them. There's more spiritual than many of them today, and that's true of a lot. But there's some good spiritual songs. Same God that moved on men to write those old hymns still moves on people today to write newer songs, and so and they've got good messages in them. So don't just write everything off because it's new. Don't write everything off because it's old. This is an old one. One thing I like to do is try to keep some of these old songs alive. This song is like I said, it's an old song, but it's got a unique sound to it. Again, we talked about unique sound earlier. This is kind of an eerie sound, but called Wayfaring Stranger. It's got some hard to follow, for me anyway, chord changes, so I'll try to stay on as best I can. I am a poor wayfaring stranger while traveling through this world of woe. Yet there's no sickness, toil, or danger in that bright world to which I go. I'm going there to see my Father. I'm going there no more to roam. I'm going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I know dark clouds will gather round me. I know my way is rough and steep, yet beauteous fields rise before me, where God's redeemed the vigils keep. I'm going there to see my mother. She said she'd meet me when I come. I'm only going over Jordan. I'm only going over home. I'm going there to meet my Savior, to sing His praise forevermore. I'm just a-going over Jordan. I'm just a-going over home. All right, I hope you're on your way home, and that's the theme of this next song also, even though it's entirely different. This is more of a bluegrass song. Matter of fact, it was a bluegrass. I figured out, though, that whether I'm going to one direction or the other, I still come back to sounding country with anything I do. So it doesn't matter if I try to do bluegrass or if I try to do something more contemporary. It all comes out country. I'm just a country boy, and I guess that's what I'll be, and that's the way things come out. So anyway, it's called is Traveling the Highway Home. Traveling the highway home, I'm traveling the highway home. Oh, narrow's the way, thank God I can say. I'm traveling the highway home, going toward the sunset of time. Traveling the highway home, rid this world of sin far behind. Traveling the highway home, traveling the highway home. I'm traveling the highway home. Oh, narrow's the way, thank God I can say. I'm traveling the highway home. Well, old Satan said I'd never be traveling the highway home. When I resisted, he had to flee. Traveling the highway home, traveling the highway home. I'm traveling the highway home. Oh, narrow's the way, thank God I can say. I'm traveling the highway home. Sometimes the road seems weary and long, traveling the highway home. But in my heart there's always a song, traveling the highway home, traveling the highway home. I'm traveling the highway home. Oh, narrow's the way, thank God I can say I'm traveling the highway home. Okay, I think that'll be the last song we'll get in. I'm pushing up toward that ridge I've been wanting to get to. And as I said at the beginning of the video, this is my second trip that kind of ended in failure at that. And that happens a lot. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 tries for me to get to where I'm originally going. Sometimes darkness has caught me. And then, one thing and another. This time it was a rather huge sheepdog. I'm pushing my bike up a pretty steep part right now. And I think I've got to get on it yet. And we'll just get started off pedaling on it. Yeah, I'm still in a pretty rough place here to try to bike up this steep hill. And I don't know if it's going to let me do it. I'm trying to forward my view of the video, which I can't while I'm talking, dubbing over it. But at any rate, I think I've still got my camera tilted downward a bit. And if I remember correctly, I may have straightened it, realized it just right after this somewhere, I think, and I pulled it back up to where you can see a little more ahead. And especially makes it more difficult since I'm going uphill, and so I'm looking down to see where I'm going. And so what stopped me was not darkness this time. It was not the difficulty with the terrain or anything like that. I saw ahead, and you see here I'm going to get a sip of water and look back. You can see a good view. Well, no, you can't. I think I do tilt my helmet up here after a while. I think that's why I began to realize that I said, wait a minute, I don't have my this camera tilted back. I tilted it down sometime earlier. And now I lift my head up to where you can, kind of see the Chesnadilla in the distance. And I've seen a similar view, and you've seen it before if you've watched my videos. Seen it some. And so I'm getting ready to head back up. And there I go. I'm tilting that's where I realized that, like I said, by now I'd realized I had the camera tilted down, so tilted it back up. And hopefully you'll be able to see a little more as we head on up, but I don't get far, as I said, and I spotted a fairly large flock of sheep right where I was wanting to go. And you can't make them out that good, but blew it up as best I could. And so now, yeah, where there's sheep, there's sheepdogs. So I decided that I was not going to attempt to go on up.
Sheepdogs.
I think I took that picture a little quick. I probably got a scene right there. So anyway, right here, I decided I'm not going to press my luck on those sheepdogs because they are, as I've said before, these sheepdogs are bred to fight off bears and wolves. Even though there's not that many, I don't know if there's any wolves right in this neighborhood. On rare occasions, you see a bear maybe. I haven't ever seen one, but I've talked to a few people that have seen them. But they have the large sheepdogs, and like I say, that's what they're bred for, is to fight off wolves and bears. And so I don't want to deal with them. So I didn't bring any treats with me, and that's about the size of the one that I saw, and you'll see here, I'm going to demonstrate. This is the first time I ever had to do this. I carry me a stick on the bottom of my bicycle there, and I've got it fixed to where I just pull that pin like a hand grenade pin and then snap it off. But the problem was that it didn't snap off too easily this time, but I finally got it off and pointed at the dog, and he had been following. He started barking. I was way up the hill, and or he was way up the hill. I never got within 300, 400 meters of the flock of sheep. And so I figured I was pretty safe from the sheepdogs. But when I turned around and went another probably 100 meters before they spotted me, and I'd heard that one barking, I thought, well, they'll pretty much leave me alone. I'm this such a distance, and I'm moving away. But then I began to hear the barks coming closer, and so he had the upper ground, and he was big too. I needed to get out in a hurry. I pulled it out and pointed it at him, and he laid back. He stopped then at that time. The only problem was I heard another dog coming, following him from some distance, and I was afraid with the two of them they'd get a little more brave, but I was able to walk on a little further distance, and finally they moved on back up the hill. This is the first time I ever felt the need, like I say, that I needed to take that off. I felt that threatened. And so, but it worked. Like I said, I got off the bike, pointed it at the dog, and let it know, I meant business. So he stopped and let me go on my way then.